Okay, so my next question to my brothers and sisters in the Catholic faith is the doctrine of the bodily assumption of Mary. This is believed that Mary was assumed into heaven just as Jesus was. She was immaculately conceived, so she was sinless, and therefore she didn't need to die, as most humans do, but she was assumed into heaven just as Jesus was. This doctrine was officially made doctrine in 1950. And so my question is, if this is a doctrine that is stated in the Church of 1950, what support do we have for this doctrine? Is there any support in history of this doctrine at all, of any church father actually speaking about this, or dogmatically stating anything to do with the bodily assumption of Mary? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a small clip of this debate with Robert Sungenis, who's a, I feel is probably the best Catholic apologist out there. He's debating a guy named James White, who's a Protestant. He's an apologist as well in the faith. Both guys are pretty intelligent guys. Now the question was asked by Dr. White in the question and answer session, if he could show that the doctrine, actually the question is the doctrine of the bodily assumption of Mary a revelation from God, or did God reveal it as a divine truth? And so, as you're going to see, there's no evidence for this at all. There's nothing to support this doctrine. So let's play the clip.
Exogenes is the doctrine of the body assumption of Mary, a revelation from God.
Depends on what you mean by revelation. Why don't you define that for me?
Did God reveal it as a divine truth?
Yes.
When?
He revealed it to the church in 1950.
Was it believed to be a divine truth by Ignatius, anyone in the first century?
Not Ignatius, no.
Anyone in the first century that you know?
Yes, there would have to be. That was Carol's argument.
So there were people in the first century who believed the bodily assumption of Mary, but they left no record of their belief of the bodily assumption of Mary?
Certainly possible.
Same with the second century?
Certainly possible.
Third century?
Certainly possible.
Fourth century?
Yep.
How did the transit...
So there you have it. There's really no answer. He can't really come up with any church father that actually says anything about the Assumption of Mary up into the 4th century. At that, well, Dr. James White basically stops there at the 4th century. But there's little tidbits throughout history that kind of sort of allude to it, but there's nothing that's stated directly or anything like that. So my question is, how can you accept a doctrine that the church considers an infallible decision, a dogma of Mary, that cannot be supported throughout history for 1900 years? That's my question. Just something to think about. God bless.